Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and like my colleague, Councillor Bell, I hope to only speak to this once and then go through and we can deal with the motions. And so it'll take me about 10 minutes and then I'll be done. But I guess I'll start off. The Citizen Committee for the 2008 OCP review recommended against development east of Harris, including Dr. Bing, who was a citizen at the time. That's a position that I have held right from day one. Over the past 2 years, we've heard from citizens who have significant concerns about the industrial beside residential and received results of a large citizen survey and 1,500 signature petition. And that doesn't even include the children in that family. We paid attention for previous petitions on the quarry application and also the tax petition. This council prides itself on citizen engagement. It's important not only to talk, but walk the walk. The natural place, livability, community, smart planning and growth, best use are terms and concepts we all embrace. But placing industrial beside residential is putting incompatible uses together. This isn't living in harmony. We have a beautiful and thriving community in South Pitt Meadows, which east of Harris Road geographically aligns with zoning to the north. They need to coexist and they need to balance. We've chosen to create incredible sports facilities and fields and community gardens adjacent to these homes. In Phase 3 and 4, we're mixed zoning with residential, perhaps some senior housing and some commercial. It would support the businesses in Osprey and likely influence School District 42 to build on their school site with the expanded student population. Mosaic talked about residential, and Onni indicated they could make as much money with residential. We already have significant industrial space with Phase 1 and 2 and the potential at the airport, which we recently heard about. Metro Vancouver cannot dictate zoning in our city. The Langley case is the example. From 2010 to 2015, cities in the Lower Mainland have removed 870 acres from industrial zoning. Why should Pitt Meadows pick up the slack? They pulled 870 acres out. If you put incompatible zones together, then smart planning and best practices in both the 2008 OCP, which is current, and the more recent IBI report both indicated 20-meter buffers. This is on top of residential yards, setbacks, drive aisles, parking lots and roads, etc. It's 20-meter buffers. What we have is severe degrading of these best practices by Onni, which I don't blame them from a business perspective, and representatives in the room, and we chatted beforehand. By Council, through endorsement of this second reading, to now change our OCP to match the Onni request, I think is not appropriate. Of particular note, and the Mayor mentioned it, this can be done through variance. If Onni fulfilled the 20-meter buffer, that equates to 7.51 acres of land. That's what should be as part of this development. In the staff report, we're down to 2.05 acres, a loss of 5.46 acres of buffers. The sports amenity is 8.83. So if you take off the buffers, we're down to 3.37 as a true amenity beyond what should be there as buffers. The buffers are still owned by Onni. If Council approves, then Council has decided on what should be done with the 10.8 acres with the sports field. While great for the community, and I agree, and I'm a huge sporting person and sporting family, it comes at significant cost to those families who live beside or near the industrial park. I was on Thorburn Way a few days ago, and about 5 homes down from where the Onni Park will be. And it affects every community member that lives down there. All they got to do is go into their yards. Even if Council needs to buy the extra land to put in the 20 meters, to make this community better, then we should be buying the extra land to make it happen. So on the scorecard, what is positive for Onni? Land values have significantly increased. There's no amenity for Sutton Townhouse, 600,000 to 700,000. They relocated the Catesy to maximize build-out. Lasser Road North Extension right-of-way is gone from our OCP. Northeast Parkland in the OCP is gone. They get to claim an 8.83 amenity, although the buffers are down to just over 2 acres. They want significant warehouse space added with another 3 meters of buildings, 11 feet. Just imagine the cubic foot increase, which equates to profit. Instead of paying all the costs for the traffic infrastructure on Airport Way, which is about $8.5 million and what Council originally indicated, it's now under our DCC model. So what happens is every developer in the community is going to pay back, and could be upwards of a couple of $1 million back. Now the roundabouts, and I agree with my colleague, and I'll wait for that one, but double roundabouts are not safe. They paid $200,000 for an amenity for phase 1, and we got a skate park out of it, and it's a great amenity for Pitt Meadows. But they got to structural fill in phase 1 instead of sand, which would have cost them money. It carried on to phase 2 and also phase 3, which we currently see is occurring. Phase 3 is roughly 50 acres. So 369,000 cubic meters of peat went out, which is about 49,000 trucks. Fill, 567,000 cubic meters, 75,000 trucks. And if you equate $55 per truck, that's a little over $4 million. There are costs to Onni, no question about it. But having a legal dump can be very, very lucrative. We also know that I think 18 truckloads were dumped that shouldn't have been dumped in that area, and that's already been discussed. It's easy to extrapolate out for phase 1 and 2, and also phase 4, if sand isn't used, how much the profit is. Onni will represent over 30% of non-residential taxes, essentially a one-company town. If this was residential or strata, that is reduced. You get industrial zoning for an extremely contentious application to become the second largest single-owner industrial park in the province. It is like the field amenity is there to sweeten the sour deal, in my view. And now playing hardball, particularly with the 15-meter heights, I find just not palatable at all. To which I say, absolutely not. Let's don't do it. We're small, but we know what this community wants. What does Pitt Meadows get? The previous mayor mentioned taxes and jobs. The warehouse pay average is, and thank you, Mayor McLean, for being here. I respect you a lot. The warehouse jobs average pay $15 to $20 an hour. That's $40,000 a year. Everybody knows what our real estate market is like. And companies relocate here with employees. They don't start up and hire. Most of them bring their employees with. Taxes, yes, but we have the lowest taxes in the LMD and already have to get another $1 million from phase 2 alone. Another $1 million's coming in from phase 2, but we're already the lowest taxes. We can also diversify, and instead of building everything in South Pitt Meadows and the airport and Onni, we have the opportunity in North Lougheed, which is a large commercial, and it's also in the OCP. You can go have a look, but it's been deferred indefinitely. That would also provide taxes, services, and jobs. And it would be away, for the most part, from residential. But we'd have to do something for our Dorado folks, because they're in the same boat. And it'd have to be a park and buffers and whatever we can do to help protect them. North Lougheed Connector is also there, and if that went through, it would connect with Abernathy, get traffic off our Lougheed Highway. Maple Ridge traffic would be stopping in our commercial area and helping to pay the taxes, buy the goods and services, and keep our people and our commercial development open. So what do we get? I'm almost done. We get obstructed sightlines, impacts on sun and shade, lower residential values, and a significant change to our community. The sightlines from the second floor of a townhouse, you can imagine. Try standing on the ground level. 5,000 parking spots, 7% heavy traffic, 45% going up Harris Road. 24/7 a day potential, a lot more noise, congestion, frustration, and increased safety concerns. We do get a sports amenity. Did we ask the community what they want for a sports amenity, or did council decide? We have land to the south of the community garden that the city owns. We could be putting fields over there. We own that land already. We have to buy land and then give Onni back the money to build on it, which isn't authorized in the Parkland Development DCC. This clearly, you can tell by my tone, doesn't sit well with me. The public hearing, and I'm just about done, public hearing, the notice, I'm glad it's changed to a much larger area. South of Airport Way just didn't work for me. I mean, we got Fieldstone, we got Harris and Hammond. I actually think it should be citywide, and we should just spend the $800 or $1,000, get it out to the city, and have everybody there. I have one last statement, and I know Chris Evans is in the House, and I truly believe that this could be a positive initiative for Onni, council and the community if we collectively rethink the Phase 3 and Phase 4 development into something we can all be proud of. Sutton, we're proud of. Onni, you did a good job. You listened and you did a good job. And the last thing I'll say is it's never too late to do the right thing, and I hope this council does the right thing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And you had mentioned about speaking with your colleagues and amenities for industrial lands being rare. And I guess the question is we have to ask is why? And clearly it could be viewed as sweetening the deal. Nice and shiny fields, they look pretty attractive. And but this is on a highly, highly, highly contentious application. It also surfaced, the soccer field surfaced during the last campaign, and I do think we need to ask our citizens, what do you want for amenities if this is going through? And maybe you'll agree that this is the right one, maybe you won't, but we should ask you. As for the creative funding strategy, it doesn't sit well with me, and again, others can be the judge of that. I've already made my own conclusions on it. I already explained the financial concessions already granted to Onni, everything from no amenity in Sutton, save $700,000. They get DCCs back. The fill that they're doing, they're making significant dollars on the fill that they're doing. Less buffers, more development land. Looks like they're given a huge amenity, but they're given a lot less buffers. And finally, I'll just make a quick comment on the taxes. And I think, I can say this, I think, for all 7 of us. We're extremely proud of Pitt Meadows, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. And we do have the lowest taxes. And but for me, because of that, we're in a great place, and we shouldn't automatically be looking at and be desperate to try and get industrial taxes or commercial taxes. We're in a great place. Do we have all the services? No. But we're really in a good place in many, many respects, and I think we're all proud of that, and I think the audience is, otherwise you wouldn't be here tonight. And the last thing I'll say is it's never too late to do the right thing, and I hope this council does the right thing.